Streaming live from the John Pacino studio. This is what? This is CBC today?
This is the high tech interview show.
Okay, yes.
Let's call it that.
High tech interview show on WHIT podcasting. Call in and join the conversation at 201-589-0321. I'm your announcer, Kanan, and now your host, Jose.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jose Calderon III, and today I will be joined by my co-hosts here, Kanan, Jade, Maddie, and behind the scenes, we got Caden working on tech. We got Liv working on tech. We got Shy, Mr. DePiro, and Miss Cabrera. But today, we are joined by a very special guest, Joe Bufis. Welcome to the booth, sir. Just to ask a few questions, let's start off with, who are you?
All right, so my name is Joe Bufis. I am here primarily I work for IATSE, Local 52. I'm in the electrical department, and I've been doing it since 2009.
Okay, 2009.
Mm-hmm. And for the people that don't know, where exactly is Local 52?
Local 52 is the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut tri-state area local for film, movies, television, and commercials.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started and basically like your background?
Of course. So my grandfather, Michael Proscia, I get a little choked up every time I talk about him, but he was my idol, and he started off as a World War II photographer, worked his way up through the rankings in the Army, and pursued camera work. He eventually got into CBS and worked as a CBS cameraman. There's a picture of my grandfather right there. And then he got into IATSE, and he worked his way up from like we talked about, a coffee runner, to the International General Secretary of Treasurer of IATSE. So he was a big name, and he transformed IATSE every step of the way.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And did you guys have like the same passions? Was it like, because like you said most of your family did it, right? So it's like, did everyone have like the same passion, or did everyone like venture out into different fields?
So from my uncles on my grandfather's side to their kids, to their cousins, trickle down generations up until where I am. Everybody's been involved in one form or another in IATSE or in the film industry. Stemming from that, my mother, like we talked about, is a scenic artist. She just recently retired. She's actually now an art teacher.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So my mom is a very good artist, and she in the business, scenic artists, they go in and paint sets and decorate sets in ways to manipulate what the set might look like. And she did it from the 70s until early 2000s.
Wow. It's really cool.
She loved it, I bet.
Yeah, she loved it. Met a lot of people. And it all stems from my grandfather. Everything is tied to him and what he brought to IATSE. I don't have it on tap, but he even is responsible for a lot of the scholarships.
Really?
For IATSE now, stemming from Florida up to New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now with Local 52, can you tell us about some productions that you helped work on?
Yes. My number one production, Law & Order SVU. We just wrapped the 25th season, and we're starting that back up in July. Wow. And I'm what's called a day player. So I work up, going back to my bio, I'm also a police officer in North Bergen and a real estate agent. So my hands are tied.
Real estate agent.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
never a day off.
Yeah, never a day off. And I'm very busy, but I always find time to work at least 1 or 2 days a week in IATSE. And I'm in the electrical department. So we handle all the power and the movie lights. And without us, there's no movies because there's no electric.
Right.
Yeah. You do need electric.
Yes, for everything.
A lot, actually.
And so talking about Law & Order SVU, any movies that maybe you have worked on as well?
Yes. The biggest name movies I've worked on were The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Homecoming. I worked on those two movies. Even though I've been in the business since 2009, I still haven't worked on a commercial, and commercials get paid even more money.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down. When you're ready,
Note
when you're ready to work a commercial. But yeah, primarily movies, TV shows, a lot of the dramas, like I said, SVU, Blue Bloods. We talked about Gossip Girl. I worked on some of the one of the NCICs, the original Law and Order, and the Defenders, Daredevil, the original Daredevil on Netflix.
Wow.
I worked on a bunch, and I've seen some pretty interesting scenes be made, different shooting styles, everything in the book I've seen.
And what inspired you, and when did you become a police officer in North Bergen?
So I became a police officer. I originally started with the Hudson County Sheriff's Office.
Oh.
I was there. I got hired in 2017, 5 years there, and then came to North Bergen in July of 22.
Right.
So my brother is a police officer in North Bergen. He started when I was still in grammar school. So he's 7 years older than me. So he started, and I went that route and followed his footsteps, and even surprisingly at the advice of my grandfather.
Wow.
Yep.
And with all these jobs as a real estate agent, police officer, and as well working with IATSE, how do you integrate it all into one big life? How do you bring it all
Yeah,
together?
no, I was wondering that.
How do
too.
you get time?
Yeah.
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 So let's just say in April I had 2 days off, including
Oh.
weekends.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Wow. Yeah,
So-
that's fair.
Yep. So
Makes
my police schedule is I work 4 days on, 4 days off. It's a nice 4 days off if you can have those 4 days off.
Yeah.
Right.
But in between that, I either work police overtime, I work an IATSE production, or I am doing showings around Bergen County, Essex County, Morris County for houses and apartments. So my hands are, I manage it well. I manage it well. And then I even have time to come here and do a podcast.
That's awesome.
But is
That's
it
awesome.
true you say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life? Would you say that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like coming from the IATSE productions, the days are long, sometimes grueling. Weather is a factor. We don't stop for rain. We have a lot of tents and tarps that we put over
Yeah.
equipment when it rains, and some days get miserable. But at the end of the day, you're just like, you think to yourself like, wow, I'm making a very good living, and I'm on a film set, and it's a passion. And even if it isn't a passion to be on a film set, everybody watches TV, everybody watches a movie, and you're there. You're like, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
And that changed your mind on things.
And with the incredible legacy that your grandfather has given, what moments or things have you seen over the years, or even today, that not common regular people would see?
We go to a lot of conventions, and I've gone to a lot of meetings with my grandfather and dinner meetings off the books, stuff like that. And the places I've seen, the places he's been. So my grandfather officially retired, if I'm not mistaken, mid 2000s, but he worked until 2016.
Wow.
He was such a prominent figure in IATSE that he wouldn't go to the office or anything like that anymore, but even at his age of 86, they would like, hey, Mike, we need you to come out to Vancouver, and
Wow.
we need you to like your opinion on things. They'll fly him out, go to Vancouver. I've been on some of his trips.
Wow.
And some of the perks were like, one day we went to Boston, and he had his free flight to Boston to go. Like I said, like
Yeah.
they'll send him out for a week, pay him for that week, and come home after giving his advice. That's how much they respected him. They needed his advice,
Yeah.
even though he was retired, to go and put his input on things. And but that one time in Boston, he had his free flight, and he's like, I'm not taking that flight. You're gonna drive me up to Boston. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
I'm like, damn, all right. And I would call him Pop, Pop.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, Pop, so we'll drive up to Boston, and then when we get up there, he gives me 2 tickets to the Red Sox games,
Oh,
and we were
Oh my
the
God.
second row behind home plate. He's like,
Ooh.
yeah,
Wow.
they gave it to me. I don't watch baseball. I'm like,
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
okay, all right. You know. So with him being around, and especially in the business, there's a lot of perks, and
Yeah.
everything in my life is because of him.
No, I gotta,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I gotta be selfish here. Home plate, like, well, 2 seats behind home plate.
He's like, so how do I do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, but how does the game look? Is it, like, behind home plate?
It's-
Like,
it's-
I just gotta ask.
It's kind of surreal. It's pretty crazy. If you haven't sat behind home plate, especially at baseball,
Right.
a ballpark like Fenway,
Yeah.
you know, it's so
Yeah.
historic, and it was a night game. It was
It's
so cool.
beautiful.
It was so
Wow.
cool. Yeah. And but he went to the game. He went to a game before that, and the day before, and I think they were playing the Yankees,
Uh-oh.
and the Yankees hit a home run in the first inning, and he's like, "That's it. Let's go. They're done." And it was like he didn't care. He just
Wow.
part of the job.
Oh
you
my
know,
God,
like
I
the
hear
first
that.
picture.
yeah, just like
Wow.
that.
Fenway Park is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
like
stunning.
right,
Goodness.
yeah, right
I
there.
was
two
just
seats.
talking about going on a trip. to
And then he was in
Fenway.
the second row.
I was
That's
right. I was
crazy.
right there behind home
That's
plate. It was amazing.
Beautiful. Oh my
It
was
God.
amazing.
Favorite team?
Baseball Mets.
Mets.
Yeah, but
I respect that. As long as they ain't the Red Sox.
But for football, I'm a big football guy. So
Right.
Jets. I'm a Jets. fan.
Hey, you know that. You know that. It's gonna be a
Okay.
good year. It's gonna be a good year.
All right, we'll keep you in the studio a little longer.
There you go.
Valid.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it is a good year. They need something. But now you went to Fenway. You've had all these trips to Boston, Vancouver, and these incredible moments. But let's talk about your time during the productions, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, I know you said you worked on Law and Order, IATSE. Like, how those interactions go? Are actors as,
Actory.
yeah, as pompous as people claim they are?
No. Like I said, there hasn't been an experience where I've run into an actor where they brushed me off the wrong way.
Right.
Everybody on a film set is a family.
Mhm.
You're on, even though I'm a day player, I'm not there every single day,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm there enough where I know a lot of the people. And they're just your coworkers at the end of the day. You're behind the camera, they're in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And every day everybody's so nice. I've never had an issue. And like I said, after months and months of 10+ hour days, filming in the elements at the stage and different locations and everything, it's all a family at the end of the day. And
Right.
at the end of each production, for the most part, they have a wrap party. So that's a good time.
Not
to,
that. No,
No, I was just asking what type of rap.
yeah. So like we're wrapped. Set's wrapped.
Wrap
Okay.
up.
You know,
That's why I was like,
like,
not that
yeah.
rap. Not that
Yeah.
rap.
Everybody, sorry,
Yeah,
spinning
not
freestyles or
W
something?
W-R-A-P. Not
I know
So-
I see there, but
Yeah, I was like, oh.
So yeah, they have a rap party, and that's a good time to let loose.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's having fun. Everybody, actors, crew, and even then, even on set, even in the professional setting, we're all making jokes, and you just make the day go by, and it's a good experience.
That's
Anybody
really
got some
cool.
questions before I go into a rapid? I'm gonna ask a few questions. I'm just gonna throw at
Okay.
them, so.
I have a couple too.
yeah.
So you go first. You go.
Okay. What has been your craziest experience with like a lighting project? Like, have you had to do like these crazy like we've had like lighting trees? Like, have you had to put
Yeah.
multiple lightings like in one pole? Like, what has been your craziest lighting?
Oh, that eye
Experience.
roll was me.
Yeah.
There's a crazy
Oh,
answer to
man.
this, and that's why I want to know.
So in the lighting department, throughout the years, the lights have been getting more efficient, let's
Yeah.
say, right? One light can do multiple things, as back in the day it would be one light doing one purpose.
Yeah.
So when I first started, it was that pretty much one light doing one purpose thing, and we'll be carrying around these 100-pound lights.
Yeah.
And I think the one day we filmed at a church, and it was like it was almost a cathedral style church, and we had to put there's these stands called road runners, right?
Mhm.
So it's 3 wheels, and it holds one of the heavier lights.
Mhm.
So we had, I think, 16 on each side of each window on each side. So we had like 32 lights.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like, and then wheeling them up, putting them in
Yeah.
position, and then wrapping it at the end of the day. Lighting gets crazy, and the weight of the equipment, the amount of the equipment, wrapping the
Yeah.
equipment to put back in the truck, it's a lot, you know. But in our department, in the electrical department, there's aerial lifts.
Hmm.
So sometimes you're up there at 120 feet. I think the most I've seen was 175.
Oh my
I never been
God.
on one,
Oh my
but you're up at
God.
175 feet just to pan down a light onto the set.
Oh no.
And you're up there, and sometimes there's a lot of them, like on the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
yeah.
we built a
I can
false
imagine.
yeah we built a false Times Square in Long Island. There was I forgot the name of the stage, but
That's crazy.
there was
Yeah, which is so
everybody was
crazy.
up in those heights.
Oh no.
Everybody, like lift after lift after lift, people on the rafters. Oh my god, like
That is Spider-Man.
It gets- yeah, exactly.
We,
Not
we
my
all,
part.
we
That's
all
not
become
my
Spider-Man in
part.
that
the
case.
bigger the name, the bigger the production. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I've been on some scary lights. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a question. As a senior in high school, you know, we're starting college soon. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. What advice would you have for us trying to get into something like this? Any part of it?
So definitely the college experience. Do you know what college you're going to?
I'm committed to NYU for film.
Oh wow, awesome!
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's even better.
I don't know. Yeah. I was gonna say we have a couple others.
Oh,
in there
nice.
too, but-
Congratulations, everybody, and everybody else is going to college. But
College.
yeah, but going from my best friend Sam experience as a Montclair student and in the film, and I've acted in plenty of his films as the lead because you know, I was like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm wacky. I'm wacky. That's what happens when you work like every day. You know, I get a little wacky. But yeah, just being in that setting in college, you're gaining even more knowledge of the equipment, more knowledge of how to use the equipment, and it's definitely an easier transition into the business. Like when I started, I went right in almost blind. You know, I learned a lot of the equipment. My grandfather taught me a lot of the equipment. My uncle, was the gaffer on SVU, Law & Order SVU when I first started. And they taught me the ways, but it was definitely a hands-on. With college, and the apprenticeship, it's amazing because you're learning all the stuff in college as well as getting hands-on. So you're going in there at, I would say, a step above most.
So it's worth it.
Yes.
So it's worth it.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely
Yeah.
worth it.
And I had a question. You know, IATSE is the family business for you. At one point, at any point, was there a time where you weren't sure that you wanted to do IATSE?
I think it was so put into my head,
Mhm.
like everything from the blankets I slept under were IATSE blankets. Like
Really?
Got the
I-
logo
like,
on them.
You got IATSE blankets?
Yeah.
Let me
If
find
I
one.
can turn-
Can I have
Right,
one?
I know,
right.
let's get the
And-
IATSE bed set.
No,
Oh my god.
no, yeah.
Like I would, if I can turn because like I said, I live in I took over my grandfather's house once they passed, my grandmother and my grandfather.
Mhm.
So I took it over and I lived there, and everything is IATSE in that house. Yeah, and I have things from, they're probably worth money. Like at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah,
you know, like,
probably.
Has
just
to be.
years and years of my grandfather collecting and getting
Yeah.
pins and medallions and shirts and hats. Like I would go to set with like some of these hats, and they're like, "Yo, like where'd you get that hat? Like I haven't seen a hat." I'm like, "Oh, that is my grandfather's closet." You know, like, I'll just wear it. And so like that logo, the IATSE logo, is just anytime I see something remotely that shape, I'm like, is that IATSE?
Where?
I gotta talk to them. I need to tell them I'm 52. You know? So, but not like just from my childhood on, it's always been IATSE, and I always wanted to, because seeing my grandfather do all this cool stuff,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, I want to do that too. You know, I want to be like he was in the more of the after, you know, once you got up there in seniority and stuff, he was corporate pretty much. You know,
Yeah.
what the corporate would be, but just me being on the set itself. When I first started right after high school, he would sometimes drive me to set because I didn't have a car yet.
Mm.
So it's like in the eyes of IATSE, it's like the president driving his grandson to set. So like the actual like the president of the United States, you know, like you know, he would drive me to set like 5 a.m, like they're seeing a ghost. Like, Mike, what are you doing here, Mike? Like they thought like everybody's in trouble because he would show up to set like to like maybe, you know, he's like I'm just dropping off my grandson. Like that's how he was. I'm like, thanks, Pop. I'll see you later. And yeah, from even now, just that like that's the most important man in my life.
Yeah.
And from you know, from being born and, you know, having conscious thought at, you know, I don't know what age, but and then seeing the IATSE logo on, I was always be passionate about it.
That's so cool.
That's nice. That's real nice.
Yeah.
Now, before we enter the rapid fires, I'm gonna hit you with a bunch of questions. Before we get into that, like favorite memory with your grandfather.
Man, so many, so many. One of my favorite memories is when I would well, first he took me on my first ever flight. He was going to Toronto for a meeting. I was I don't know, 7 years old. I was like, I want to fly. I want to go on a plane. He's like, all right, let's go. So he took me to Canada, right? And this is pre 9/11 and everything, right? So he took me to Canada. I didn't have a passport.
Oh,
I didn't have anything. So we get off the plane and then they're like questioning him, like, who's this kid you're smuggling into the country? Like, who is this kid?
No.
He's like, it's my grandson. What are you talking about? You know, like, and then we had like the security on us and all this stuff.
No.
I'm like, and him being very smart. I'm like, you didn't think maybe we need a passport to come to Canada, you know? And that was one of my favorite memories. But going on to when I'm older, and he would just randomly, we would have lunch every single day. I don't know if anybody. You guys are definitely too young, but there used to be a diner called the Green Kitchen in Guttenberg. Oh, did you? You worked
No
there.
way.
So
Wow.
every single day we would have lunch at the Green Kitchen. Every single day.
Wow.
So cool.
Every single day. I would go there with my mom, my grandmother, and then you'll see my grandpa shuffling with his friend Tommy down like where the glass was, the glass window pane, and he'll come in, we'll eat, and then randomly I'll be sleeping in bed, sleeping in like, so I was like 19. I was like, I'm not waking up early anymore, except for work. And he would just show up in front of the house. Hey, I'm outside. You want to go to the casino? I'm like, I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
I'll go outside and he'll swap seats. He'll go fall asleep in the back seat. I'll drive him to the casino. Yeah, just he was very super loving, and he helped so many people at his funeral. I mean, there was so many people at the wake. I couldn't believe it. It was thousands. Like, it was insane.
Wow.
It was insane.
That's a
And
great
yeah,
guy.
there he is.
Mhm.
Here's my grandpa.
wow.
What a guy.
Oh, he's the best. And that plaque is
Right.
actually in my house right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's Mr. Greg Hancock right there. Right?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
We saw him last week at our
I see.
He's
other
the
trip
one
to
that gave-
PRG.
Yep.
We did.
Not
Yeah.
only that, but
Yes.
he's also the one that gave us our test to.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yes.
as our first.
Yes.
Oh,
time
awesome.
into
Yes, he
it.
did.
Great guy.
Yeah, he's
Next-
been helping us with
Next
this
time you
program.
mention Mike Proscia.
Guy.
Okay.
Oh, hey, we
Certainly
talked to Mike
will.
Proscia's grandson on a podcast, and then they'll be like, oh,
Will do.
maybe help you out a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully.
I actually mentioned it while we were there.
Oh, yeah?
When we went on the tour, and your grandfather was his mentor.
Yep.
Wow.
So he shared
Yep.
like amazing stories, and he said that to me that your grandfather was his mentor.
Yep. I told you, he's everywhere. My grandpa's everywhere. He's the best.
What a
So
guy.
getting into your career, just maybe take like 10, 20 seconds, and maybe like the coolest person you met. Give me top 5 people that you met on a set, like actor wise.
Ooh,
All right. So coolest person is probably Mariska.
Yeah, I
She-
love my girl.
She's awesome, and like she was very fortunate. I was FaceTiming my brother's girlfriend, and she was like, I was like, hey, can you just say hi to her real quick? She took my phone with no hesitation, said hi to her, and had a little conversation with her.
That's
I
awesome.
don't think my brother's girlfriend heard a word she said, because she was like,
Yeah.
she was like, I just literally gave her the phone, and I was like, here you go, and she was talking to me, and that was Mariska. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But
Yeah,
she's amazing, and everybody on the Law and Order crew is awesome. Meryl Streep, Penn Badgley's really nice guy. Gossip Girl season 6.
Yeah.
He was awesome. Everybody was great to talk to. Donnie Wahlberg's really nice.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh my god.
Donnie
I love
Wahlberg's
him.
really nice. Yep,
I love Blue Eyes. I love him now.
he's a good one.
How's Tom Selleck?
You know what?
Tom
Surprisingly,
Selleck.
I worked on that show quite a few. Every single day I worked on it,
He was.
Tom Selleck was not there.
I
Yep.
was gonna ask about the mustache. Is it as cool in person?
I'm sure it
I
is.
gotta know.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And sorry, would say I'm stumped at the top 5. I'm stumped at the 5th one.
You're good, yeah.
I'm stumped at the
Last
5th
one,
one. But let's ask another question while I think of that one.
No problem. Top 5 productions you've been a part of.
I keep going back to it, but SVU is amazing. The show runs like butter. Every single crew member is top notch, on their money, and the days aren't as long as some other productions.
Right.
They're usually about 10-hour days at one order. Gossip Girl season 6, honestly, like I never watched the show, but it was that was a fun job to work on. This movie with Meryl Streep, it was called Ricky and the Flash. That was a good one. Rick Springsteen, he sings Jesse's.
Well,
Jesse's
yeah.
girl. Yeah.
Oh,
So he was the co-star in that movie. So I got to meet him
Oh.
too.
so cool.
Yeah, him and
Bruce
Meryl Streep.
you remember? That's
No.
awesome.
Yeah. So and the Daredevils, and those shows are amazing.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's serious.
Like seeing the action,
Yeah.
like because that's when you really see
Yeah.
like stunt doubles and
Right.
stuff coming to
Yeah.
play. And it's like, wow, these guys really work. Like
Yeah.
that one scene of driving through the Chinese restaurant wall,
Yeah.
and then we just kept replacing the wall in the car because they kept crashing
Yeah,
into it.
that's really cool.
The stunt double was just waiting there in the restaurant, ready to get hit by this car, and then gets up like, "You okay? All right, we're good," and then
Wow.
continue on from there. Like it was just like it's surreal to see sometimes, you know.
They're coming back soon. Daredevil, Born Again, coming out.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
we're actually filming in the city.
That's
Ooh.
awesome.
And another
Ooh.
production that's filming in New Jersey. I'm a very big golfer, right?
Oh.
And Happy Gilmore 2 is filming in Jersey.
You gonna be part of it?
I hope so. I'm gonna
Oh my god!
I'm gonna
No
try and
way.
reach out to who I know and try to get on that show too. I mean that movie.
I bet.
But the show you is filming right now in the
Yeah.
city.
Yes.
Another Penn Badgley production.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, and there's so many other productions. Like I explained, pilot season. Pilot season is when they dump a bunch of
Everything
shows
out, yeah.
ready to rock. Just say 10 shows, 3 of them get picked up.
Wow.
You know, and there's so many shows that didn't get picked up that I can't even think about.
And then how long do
Yeah.
those shows last after they get picked up?
Exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
a season.
Yeah.
Maybe
Wow.
they continue. You know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I've worked on many productions. If I should have wrote down the list of everything I can remember at the top of my head.
Funny.
Now, kind of rolling off of Kanan's question when he asked you about was there ever a doubt that you would be a part of IATSE? If you weren't a police officer, real estate agent, and a part of IATSE, what career path would you have chosen?
Probably my absolute dream number one would probably be a pilot.
A pilot.
That is
Yeah.
so valid
Yes.
because that has also always been my like if I wasn't so interested in film,
Yeah.
I need to fly a plane.
Yeah.
I need
I'm
to
not
fly.
good at math. I am not good at science. I need to fly a plane though. I've gotta.
I love flying. I love traveling, and I always wanted. After high school, when I was in high school, I was actually talking to a Navy recruiter,
Mhm.
and I was going to go that route, and join the Navy to be a pilot. But then my grandfather ultimately put me in IATSE. Yeah.
Last question. Now you mentioned Long Island. You mentioned being in Boston with your grandfather, as well as Vancouver. If you had to say 5 places that you've, cities, states, countries, whatever it might be, that were the top 5 that you've been to during your, working on a production or just being there in general, top 5, what would it be?
All right. New York City takes the cake
Right.
Yeah.
because New York City there's
New
so
York
many
City.
locations. I've been to places that you won't even think existed, and so New York City. I'm not even considering Long Island because driving out there from here is like
A nightmare.
Yeah.
is a nightmare.
Yeah.
A nightmare.
I filmed at the Bell Works Lab. You ever know that? You know that about that place? It's in Central Jersey.
Okay, yeah.
It's this gigantic where the Bell Factory used to be,
Mhm.
and there's actually film studios in there.
No
Oh.
way.
I filmed in it's called the Broadway Stages.
Mhm.
So the Broadway Stages used to be in Brooklyn. Now they're in Staten Island, but the Broadway Stages it used to be an old prison. So now the
Oh.
prison is the stages, and we film simultaneous prison scenes for like a
Uh-huh.
crime show, plus just regular productions.
That's so cool.
That's
Um,
so cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
That must save a lot of time. 'Cause
Exactly.
You talked about like transit back and forth
Yep.
in these places.
So when you watch episode 12 of this season of Law and Order, Ice-T's a walking out kid out of Rikers Island, and that's the stages. It's not Rikers Island, it's
Wow.
Staten
So
Island.
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, Buffalo, New York. Buffalo was cool. That was that was a 3-day production. A lot of aerial lifts.
Oh my
Scary,
Oh my
but
goodness.
yeah. And I went to Connecticut once. It was cool. But a lot of there's a lot of soap operas that get filmed up there. But overall, New York City and everything around it is awesome. You can film in this is George Washington's headquarters, and down by the financial district. It's you look at it, it's from the 1700s and 1800s, and we filmed in there one time, and it made it look like it was that
That's
time
cool.
period. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's a lot. Yeah,
Wow.
That's
Yep.
really cool.
Yeah, that's seriously impressive.
it's cool.
That's crazy.
Any last thoughts, guys?
No, I'm just so excited. For
Yeah, now
I'm
you've
so
only just
excited.
made me more excited about what I'm going to be doing.
It's fun.
So.
I mean, it's definitely like, I do have, like I'm 32 years old, and I've been doing this for 15 years. Half my life
Wow.
I've been at IATSE, and all my life I've been involved somewhat with IATSE. So I was very fortunate enough to come. Lauren, your teacher, is very fortunate. I was fortunate for her to invite me here and talk to you. I love talking about it, and I hope you really, become successful in this business. All you guys.
Oh, we're so grateful.
Yeah.
We're
Thank
so
you
grateful,
so much.
Yeah,
Thanks
yeah.
for the opportunity.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, shout out Ms. Cabrera. Thank you, Ms. Cabrera, for this wonderful opportunity
Kudos
bringing
to
Mr. Bufis here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Joe Bufis. Thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for joining us, sir. Wow. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.